everyone, I am Wendy with Winds of Change Ministries, and today I'm going to talk about narcissism. This message is inspired by something that happened to me early this morning. I woke up in the early morning hours, hopped on my cell phone to see what video might be suggested to me on YouTube, and it was talking about narcissism and how you have to leave narcissists behind. Now, I had heard about this strategy months ago around Christmas, and I didn't believe it. But apparently there's some truth to it, because as I was in the middle of watching this video, I had a vision. I saw a blue form of a man, and it was an electrified body, okay? It was blue. There were no details. And for many of you who are on the spiritual journey, you know that our light bodies can have that blue color, okay? I've seen my own blue electrified body before. I've seen other people's blue electrified bodies before. And so that's what this represented. And within the center of his chest was a big heart, and like the Valentine's Day heart, okay? And at the very pinpoint center of that heart, it was white. And then as the energy came out from that epicenter, it was more of a pink, okay? And it pulsated like this. And from the outline of the pink heart, the color continued to get deeper and darker. So it wasn't really red, it wasn't really pink, it was more of a magenta as the energy radiated outside of that heart space, okay? And so that gave me hope, okay, because I myself am dealing with someone who has narcissistic tendencies, and I have had to, drop the dead weight because that relationship was toxic to me. And God told me if I would just step away from it, that new love would come. Now, that new love might come in the form of this individual becoming a new version of himself, a better version of himself, or it might come in the form of a new person who is on my level, coming towards me, okay? Someone who's on my level, and I am in the magenta level. And for those of you who know, that is the star chakra, okay? The star chakra, right about here, all right? That is my level. And so, maybe a new person who's on my level is single and is going to be attracted towards me, or possibly this other person will come as a new and better version of himself. So I was very excited about this. Now, let's go ahead and talk about narcissism, okay? Because you see, I see myself as a chosen one, and this particular individual sees himself as a chosen one, and whoever else comes my way, whether new love or whatever, I expect them to see themselves as a chosen one, okay? Now, chosen ones, believe it or not, we have narcissistic tendencies, okay? I'm guilty. So I've got some of those tendencies, some of those characteristics written down. Let me read them out. So, exaggerated sense of importance. Okay, well, let me tell you, you would not push yourself through the trials and tribulations that God sends your way unless you had an exaggerated sense of importance, that you knew you just had to get through this trial and tribulation period, okay? If it wasn't for that as the cheese, once you get out of the maze, if you didn't think that there was going to be you wouldn't push through all this crap. You just go on and live a normal life. Also, narcissists have a need to be admired, and what is that? That's the cheese. the cheese on the other side. You know, you go through this maze, and then you want your cheese. You want to be admired because you've accomplished a great feat. A growth to be grown from that. All right, is to recognize that it doesn't matter. The admiration of others really doesn't matter. What matters is that you know you're right with God and that God admires you. When you know you're right with God, then you can admire yourself, right? A lot of people need to get into alignment with God. You know, their spine is a little bit crooked, all right? They need to get into alignment with God. Another sign of narcissist is a lack of empathy. There is a tendency to judge others, all right? We know our feelings really well, but we don't step in the shoes of other people to see where they're at. So there is a real strong sense of judgment towards others, all right? So there is a lack of empathy. And so the question becomes, can a narcissist change? Not without divine help, I can tell you that. So, according to Google, the masterminds and AI thinking of Google, the probability of a narcissist changing is very low, very low. Okay, and what it requires is genuine self-awareness. You have to say, I see I have those tendencies. I see I have that. So an awareness. And then, of course, a coping mechanism. So after awareness, then you have to have a willingness to address the patterns. Okay? So if you see that certain things cause a trigger within you, then you need to work around that. See, I know for myself that I am an amplified energy of those around me. Okay, so if I'm around happy people, I'm super happy. If I'm around angry people, I can get very angry. Now, because God has been training me to stay centered, right? Stay centered and don't let my emotions get slung around back and forth too much. I'm able to deal with it better. But I recognize this as being one of my triggers, and so I avoid situations that trigger me. All right? But that doesn't make us very healed and functional. So we have to find within ourselves, we have to find the triggers and find ways of coping with it, okay? This is our shadow work, and we have to conquer our shadows. We have to conquer our demons. Another way that narcissists have to, another thing that they have to do to heal themselves is actively participate, and I just explained that, all right? Because you are recognizing your triggers and you are finding coping mechanisms. That is active participation. Even with all of this, the chances of a narcissist relapsing back into bad patterns is very high in stressful situations, which is why I have already said, I'm just reading my list right there, which is why I have already said you have to try to avoid those stressful situations to the best of your ability. Okay, so that is today's message. I do have a special announcement prepared for tomorrow. I'm very excited. I've actually postponed it until tomorrow because I'm still tweaking some things. But yes, a special announcement tomorrow. So be sure to like this video, post a comment below. Hey, are you a chosen one? Can you raise your hand and say, hey, I see that I have some narcissistic tendencies that I need to work on? Let me know. Drop it down in the comment. I'm guilty, I admit. and I'm working on my own issues, as we all should be. So be sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification button. Thank you so much for watching. I am Wendy, and we're all living in the winds of change.